internet thingy. Weber internet thingy. Weber internet thingy. Come on, check this out. Weber internet thingy. Weber internet thingy. Weber internet thingy. The good times are never in doubt. Weber internet thingy. Come on, enjoy the fun. Weber internet thingy. We've got the blues on the run. Get away from that big mean world and come have lots of dumb fun. Get away from that big mean world and come have lots of dumb fun. Strange old tracker with that Star Trek jack. Strange old tracker. Let's talk about it live. Strange old tracker. Eric Joe John. Strange old tracker. Settle in 'cause it's all.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Strange Old Trekkers. Let me do this. Welcome to Strange Old Trekkers. I'm your old pal, Captain John. And oh my
they're the strange old trekkers. Come dig what they're doing. Strange new worlds they're recapping and reviewing. Brand new trek steaming into your home. But with the strange old trekkers, you're not watching it alone. Join the strange
Sorry, I'm entertaining me. Hopefully that's in some way entertaining to you. It's not just me who's a strange old trekker. Let me bring on my first officer and the guy who helps this rickety old space station spin. Folks, do you know Commander Joe Townsell?
Greetings, Captain John. I tell you, it's another interesting week on Strange New Worlds. Hence, another interesting week on Strange Old Trekkers. And I'll give you a hint. At least one of us kind of likes this episode. Another one of us don't. Guess which is which.
It's I've got real mixed positive feelings on this, but whenever we need feelings that are mixed to negative, well, you got to go to your chief pettiness officer.
Of course.
And that, of course, would be let's go below decks and talk to CPO Eric Kramer.
I mean, was there ever any doubt as to who the guy could be? Let me tell you something. I've been on Romulan gummies now for about 10 hours after watching this episode.
And how are you feeling?
The universe has not opened up to me. Let's just put it that way.
So this episode, it's got a lot. It's a lot. So let's get in there. Let's find out the genesis of this episode. Oh, hell, that is loud. All right, let's talk about this episode. We are, of course, into the third season of Strange New Worlds. That is crazy loud. So, this, of course, the third season. This episode, the 5th of 10. This we're halfway through with this one, gentlemen.
Sure came quick, didn't it? In other ways, not so much.
The episode is, of course, called Through the Lens of Time on Strange Old Trekkers. This one was written by Onitra Johnson and Davey Perez. It was directed by Andy Armaganian. I never even practiced that name. I'm sorry, Andy. But I hope I came close. Davey Perez, if that name sounds familiar to anyone, he is a co-executive producer on Strange New Worlds right now. Where did he come from, you may ask? Having written 4 of the episodes of the series, where did Davey Perez come from? Do you know a little show from the WB or the CW called Supernatural?
Oh, yes.
Because Davey Perez was a producer and a writer for 4 seasons on Supernatural, a show that I used to watch faithfully, but at one point I think like our DVR exploded or something, and I never quite went back. I never quite, but I always liked the show. It is very dark, and very creepy. And so that would explain a lot.
Did it give you the heebie-jeebies, John?
Oh.
Did it give you the heebie-jeebies?
I had more of the willies, but
okay. Yeah, that's not as bad as the heebie-jeebies.
Just gave me the shits.
Oh my God. All right. So let's go on to for the beats, in which our own Joe Townsell puts together the dramatic beats of this episode so we can recap it and then review it.
So dramatic.
The beats this week are terrific. Well done, Mr. Townsell.
Thank you, sir.
Go right in.
I am the Guardian of Forever. Unfortunately, I'm not in this episode, but there's plenty of temporal twisting, dimension hopping fun to be had by all. Unlock this and other mysteries of time and space itself. Get caught up in a wacky alien prison with the strange old trekkers as we take a peek through the lens of time. It's Indiana Jones time at Badia 9 as we're getting pumped for an archaeological dig. Dr. Corby and Nurse Chapel are leading the away team. Doc Mavinga's nurse in training, Ensign Gamble, is positively giddy for his first beam down mission. Well, now it's my time to shine. After all, I have a character name now. Surely nothing bad will happen. Haha. Famous last words. Captain Marie Battelle leaves her checkup, feeling fine and dandy. No resurfacing Gorn traits so far. Holy foreshadowing, Batman. And you think Ortegas is annoying? Her baby bro Beto is tagging along to film this segment in his documentary, and to flirt with Uhura. Speaking of inappropriate fraternization, Pele shows her cougar side as she makes eyes with Beto during a conference. She hams it up for the camera, which gives cringe a whole new meaning. After this episode's remaining obligatory high school romance melodrama involving Spock, La'an, Chapel, and Corby, it's go time. Planetside, they rendezvous with Najal, a native Macroon. His makeup is so time-consuming, we see only one of these aliens, although others will be mentioned later. He's there to make sure no one desecrates the site, lest the landing party accidentally release a can of poltergeist whoop-ass or something. Colby thinks this Temple of Doom was built by an ancient civilization that experimented with immortality. After 2 narrow beams from the Enterprise activate 2 cheesy props, the massive hidden structure is revealed. Then Spock beams on down. Now that the coast is clear, I guess. The lovely multilingual Uhura translates a spooky alien warning. Despite this, Christine decides to forge ahead. The mechanism at the front door pokes her finger, not to test her blood sugar, but as a form of sacrifice. Well, this doesn't work, so Spock just says, "Open sesame." Kidding. The giant door opens, and the crew steps inside to confront Jabba the Hutt. Again, kidding. Hey, look! There's a couple of ancient corpses. Looks like they starved to death. Gee, could this be a trap? Well, for some reason, this possibility occurs to no one. Yet. Gamble picks up a play pretty from a box, and the thing blows up in his face. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. His eyes are burned away, and there are now just 2 bloody sockets. Ugh. Gamble is beamed directly to sickbay. Pike tells everyone else to get their butts back to the ship. Absolutely, we will beam back. Corby wants to stay, not recognizing Starfleet's authority over him. Beto's camera drone transmits a statue in another chamber. Najal freaks out, yelling about Vesda Pa, the Macroon word for evil. He runs for the exit. He is vaporized, and the landing party is locked inside. Crap. Now the alien Temple of Doom expands into weird spaces, none of them safe. Communications are down. Natch. They decide to push forward, looking for another way out other than the main entrance. All 6 go through a doorway, but inexplicably appear in different rooms in groups of 2. Beto thanks the Maker that he ends up with his new gal pal Uhura. Spock and Corby are paired up, which is cool, since they were quite the silly team in an earlier episode. Christine is irritated to be paired with La'an, as she represents the audience in asking, "What the hell is going on?" And no technobabble, please. Well, good luck with Chapel honoring that request. Christine and La'an encounter the Sentry of Eternal Bridges statue, which is actually alive. Spock and Corby discover each chamber has a bucket full of glowing thingies, which are actually alive. Spock takes a gander at the cute little parasites, and experiences again the painful Batel-Gorn mind meld. More foreshadowing? Stay tuned. Meanwhile in sickbay, M'Benga has given Ensign Gamble a nifty pair of virtual reality glasses, programmed to generate new organic peepers for the blinded nurse.
Yeah, we can do that.
Wow, it's really too bad this technology never made its way to the 24th century. Geordi LaForge might have appreciated having new organic eyeballs, made from scratch. Gamble flips back and forth between freaking out and being stoic and menacing. Oh, and there's another problem. Gamble's eyes are growing back. Oh, and by the way, he's brain dead. Well, that's a bummer. Gamble freaks out some more. On the new and now overused science lab set, Scotty and Pelia study the orb that exploded in Gamble's face. Scotty is getting a little annoyed at Pelia, constantly interrupting him. Fortunately, the old lady will be long gone by the time the original series begins. Pelia tells Pike that the pretty little grenade is really, really old. She then gives her scientific appraisal. The thing gives her the heebie-jeebies. Ugh. But it's enough to light a fire under Pike's ass. He remembers that he's the captain and number 1 is nowhere in sight. Pike orders security to sickbay. He's nervous that Gamble may not be what he seems. And he's right. The stoic, menacing version of Nurse Gamble is talking a lot of trash with Dr. M'Benga. He even mentioned the doc's daughter to get a rise out of him. Joseph does get a little pissed when Gamble asks if some creature drank his daughter's tears and fed off her screams, making for some truly creepy dialogue. Now Gamble just knows things, like a man possessed. Just as the dense doctor figures out that Gamble isn't quite himself, Captain Batel shows up. Her Gorn DNA sparks her adrenaline, and she attacks Ensign Gamble. You can almost hear the battle music from Amok Time, playing as the 2 throw hands, drop kicks, and other cool fight moves. The Gamble thing flees into the corridor. Call the exorcist! After all, alien possession is something Star Trek has never dealt with. Well, actually, maybe about a dozen times or so. Security shows up as Patel licks her wounds over in the corner. Quick response time, guys. On the planet, Uhura uses Beto's camera drone to discover that all 6 of them are actually in the same room, but on different dimensional planes. Huh? They figure out that the temple was built by a civilization seeking immortality through time bending and dimension hopping. Again. Huh? Next discovery. This freaky temple was built by the aliens seeking immortality. Instead, it became a prison. Is that to do with Gamble? He's an ancient alien Khan attempting a jailbreak? Well, we've never seen that before. TNG's power play, anyone? Maria's recovering from her knockdown dragout in her man's quarters. Again. Pike is privately envious that Spock got to Diane before he did. Working together in their separate quantum realities, the 3 pairs assemble some temple puzzle pieces, one of which has Chinese writing on it. WTF? But it works. Everyone appears in the same room again. Spock notices an owie on his hand. Where did that cut come from? There's only one explanation. In this weird realm, effect precedes cause. Spock did cut his hand, just not yet. Spock concludes that to get to the exit, they need to walk across the bridge, which currently is not there. Corby says, "Are you out of your Vulcan mind? You want us to step onto thin air? There's no bridge there." Well, not yet, perhaps. But have you never seen the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? Trust me, Doctor. Spock activates the bridge mechanism, cutting his hand. Ah, there's the missing cause. Christine takes the leap of faith and steps onto thin air. And the bridge reappears. Time to get the hell out of Dodge. And get the hell out of Dodge they do. On the Enterprise, Gamble is in the brig for offing a red shirt. But he starts playing mind games with his guard, another doomed red shirt. Well, enough messing around. The Gamble thing walks through the force field, now on his way to the overused science lab set. There, he demands that Pelia give him the command codes so he can take control of the ship. M'Benga tries to reason with Gamble, but the goofy ensign is long gone. Pelia knows this and shoots him with her phaser. The evil entity possessing Gamble flees the dead nurse's body. Miracle worker Scotty beams the entity to nowhere, where it'll be no trouble at all. Or does he? Conclusion conference time. Pelia delivers a dire warning that they may not have seen the last of these evil aliens. The drama is high, and the tension is thick. Then, she cracks a lame joke. Geez, was James Gunn a guest director this week? In sickbay, M'Benga doesn't notice the wildly malfunctioning computer screen. You can almost hear something yelling, "Red Jack! Red Jack!" from deep within the programming. The ship's computer is possessed by a malevolent entity. Marie Battelle is slowly becoming more of a Gorn human hybrid. To be continued? What do you think?
Well, let's get down and dirty. We gotta talk about this. Oh my God. Murray Bastard and Chris are with us in the chat. That's right, Chris. Big old computer virus now. But I do love this from Bastard. Will Marie be Gorn in 60 seconds?
Why didn't I think of that?
Bastard, you have made Townsend jealous of a pun.
Oh,
That
no.
is-
Sincere admiration.
that's like beating a grandmaster chest.
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh my gosh, let's talk about this episode. Eric Kramer, let's start with you, Chief.
Why start with me?
Because you're the funnest.
Oh my God. All right. Well, let's start with something positive. This was
Good.
probably the closest thing to an episode of Star Trek in quite a while.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
You know what I
agree.
mean?
Yeah, a lot of
Like,
feeling
so do
for
I.
Star Trek. Yeah.
Story sort of felt like we were back to that. That's all I got.
Mr. Townsend, I could not watch this without thinking of the fact that our own Joe Townsend is a writer of horror and science fiction, and this could have been a bullseye for you, combining science fiction and horror and Star Trek, three things you absolutely love. How did you feel about Through the Lens of Time? Terrible title, by the way.
Through the lens of time. Okay.
And by the way, I'm sure not the first time that title's been used, or some variant of it.
It seems pretty generic, I have to say. Like they pulled it out of one of those spinning things. Like,
well, I'm irritated because of the immediacy of our show appearing on the same day as the episode premiere. All I have to go by is the episode title to make slides for the beats. And boy, this didn't even come close. Hey, but they're still fun, right? But to answer your question, John, how do I feel about it? Well, listen, generally, I was entertained. I thought, as Eric said, at least an attempt was made to make a good Star Trek episode, meaning we have a strange new world, we have a sci-fi concept to wrap our heads around. Yeah. Weaknesses, well, primarily, there's a fine line between having people, watching an episode again to get more out of it versus having to watch it again just to understand what the hell's happening. And it was a little convoluted in that respect. So, and as I indicated, I'm sure we're going to get into, it borrows heavily again from other sources itself and others as well.
I could not get past that. I just could not get past that. And there's an old thing they say when you're writing, which is imagine trying to explain what you're writing. And that's not for first drafts, but it is for final drafts. Can you explain it? I've got a writing teacher who has us do log lines. And it's a miserable thing to try to boil down what you've written and boil down your concept into a line. I hate that they embrace that so hard on Strange New Worlds, because it's basically, imagine an archaeology episode. There were a bunch of those in TNG and some in Deep Space Nine. I don't know the other series if they ever did archaeology, but it's always, there's some buried evil, there's some truth, there's some legend, but it couldn't possibly be real. So there's that archaeology, and then like I was trying to practice understanding this by explaining to my wife, Nurse Chapel leads an archaeology mission and things go terribly wrong. And her response was, well, the first thing that went wrong was Nurse Chapel was leading a mission.
Especially this Nurse Chapel.
Bastard brings up some great points. TOS had elements of archaeology. That is true. And the question, how come Mabenga is 20 years older than he was in TOS?
Well, for that matter, why is Corby 20 years younger now than he'll be in a couple of years on TOS?
Why is Corby like such a young Harrison
Guys,
Ford
we
looking.
got to stop this. We got to stop. We got to stop going back and asking these questions. They don't
Why
give a
does-
shit.
Why does Corby look at La'an and go, "Yeah, I'm going to wear a lot of mascara too"? Like, why does that happen?
But Eric, you make an excellent point. I mean, you developed the proper attitude at the very beginning. Will Driver was crazy, and it's hard for me not to, because as you know, I delve into the details of this stuff.
Yeah,
But if we try picking it apart to that degree, I mean, as I mentioned, the beats. Why the hell didn't they give poor Jordy regular eyes when he was born, if this was possible?
Okay, now here's something that I don't talk about a lot. I do occasionally watch or listen to other Star Trek podcasts. You know, I want to make sure we're doing the best we can and that we're covering our own corner of the universe.
You're
And
cheating. Okay, that's fine.
there's
You're
something. Okay, there's
Cheating on us. That's fine.
no, you're right. I'm totally
Lots
cheating.
of people have affairs. It's fine. Whatever.
I'm
You
well, we
comment?
have an
Do you like watch? Do you have an avatar and like comment as you're watching?
no. No. I just listen. But this was brought up in the past. So I don't know if you remember. Okay, so Newbie Star Trek is the podcast that I took this from, and they're huge. So if I'm going to steal, I'm stealing from the best.
Of course, as we
But
will.
they brought up an excellent point, which was we learn in the first season of The Next Generation that Geordi has the visor and it helps him see,
Yeah.
and it's painful. There's an issue that is painful. So I don't know if you remember this, but Dr. Crusher, Gates McFadden, she gets kicked off for being too much of an actress. That's how I like to sum it up. And she's replaced by Diana Muldaur as Dr. Pulaski. There's a scene that Dr. Pulaski has with Geordi where she says, if you'd like, I could make you new biogenic eyes. And Geordi says that I was told that wasn't possible. And she says, no, I've done it like 3 or 4 times. I don't know who told you that. Like, they're throwing Dr. Crusher under the bus, basically, by saying, like, she's such a bad doctor. She didn't know how to give you eye implants, Geordi. Even though Geordi wears the visor for another 6 seasons. 6 seasons. And then a couple of years. Because he doesn't get his implants until the very last episode of TNG, if I remember correctly.
Well, that was a fake future, but what he has the visor in Generations. Then from First Contact forward, he has the same thing, but in the form of eyeballs.
Right.
So he never got organic replacements.
They're not organic. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. It is weird, though, that Dr. Mabenga is like, yeah, I'm just going to put the special glasses on you and we'll try to grow your eyes back. Yeah, that's a technology.
Well, especially in the form of, Apple VR glasses.
Bastard says Dr. Crusher only got the job because Picard fancied the ass off her. Oh, that's why she didn't have an ass. Sorry.
And he did the same thing to bring her back because, Pulaski and they didn't really gel too well. So. And of course, the reason they had that whole story point in season 2 with Pulaski was that LeVar Burton was already getting tired of wearing the hair clip around his eyeballs. So.
It's so funny because I don't know if you guys remember, I was living in New York City at the time, and there would be tables that people would put out on the street of stuff they were selling. And those, the hairband that was his visor was like on every table. It was, you could buy them like $5 for $1. They were so cheap.
Yeah,
Anyway.
because it cost $0.25 and you just spray painted them gold.
Hey, as long as we got to have LeVar Burton on the show, I was happy because I loved him on that show.
Well, and with that slight digression from the topic,
Huge digression.
and again, I want to acknowledge that Eric has the healthiest attitude. He may have a lot to say critically, which is what we're looking for as from our chief pettiness officer, of course. But he does have a healthy attitude in that don't get mired in it with this show
Right.
because you're gonna go nuts.
Right.
I think I'm becoming one of those that just say, you know what, this is an alternate universe. Leave it at that.
I mean, that works for me because there is enough, as you noted in the beats, there is enough in this episode just to piss me off on the boyfriend-girlfriend shit. I'm sorry, use the S word. I try to never curse on this show. I can't.
But that's Eric's favorite part of this show when they get into the romance subplots.
John, you got to embrace it. You have to embrace the USS Grey's Anatomy. I'm telling you.
John's
Once
weakening,
you
Eric.
embrace it, it's. You stop yelling at the screen. It's great.
Here's the thing. I honestly have gone into all of new Trek, all the Alex Kurtzman, all this stuff from the last is it 10 years now? I've gone into that with a great deal of optimism and a great deal of, show me things. They could be super different. Just show it to me. Because I will say, hey, I'm watching a science fiction show and it's brand new. And I like to see all the new money thrown up on the screen. And I like to see this and I like to see that. And I don't get me wrong. I love Jess Bush, the actress who plays Chapel. I love her. But as I complain every week, why does she have to be Chapel? Couldn't she just be someone else? Nurse Chapel was honest to God, I feel like you could get Laura Ingraham to play, play Nurse Chapel, and that would be a better match than this cute little pixie girl, this little, tattooed toes, she's Gen Y. It's adorable, fine, but it ain't Nurse Chapel. It isn't Roger Corby.
John and Eric, I'm going to make a very bold statement. Are you ready? And I mean this sincerely. This is where, in my opinion, the producers and the creatives don't give us the intelligence, the credit for that, to watch this. It's like, okay, everything else could be something new. We didn't need these weird Klingons, which they completely retconned immediately.
Yeah.
Chapel, other characters that seem to be out of character from what we know before. But the creatives and the producers think they'll never understand. We've got to give them name recognition here, which only serves to piss off the big time fans.
Yeah,
I mean, that's it, right? Listen, if you're going to use the characters, then be respectful to the characters. That's all.
I agree.
That's it.
But don't you agree that's kind of what's going on as far as the way they're presented?
I don't think so. Well, no. Let me be careful here. It's not. They're not respecting the origin of where these characters came from at all. Spock being the biggest offense in this universe.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm telling you, Spock, if you don't have Spock in the original series, I don't know if you get past the first season.
Exactly. And he was, for better and for worse, like the symbol of the series, because people who weren't into science fiction were always like, is that the show with the guy with the pointy ears? That's stupid. Why do you like that? I'm gonna watch sports now. There are things about Spock in the original series that kind of broke the brain of how TV was done and how an alien would be portrayed,
Right.
And how an alien could be heroic and an alien story could tell you about the human story. And, even when they mimeographed that for Data in Next Generation, and I did hear a lot of people say, oh, he's just this version of Spock. And I was like, yeah, good. Thank you. I'm happy. I want to see this guy's life. And I eventually felt that way about Worf as well.
Right.
I want to see his life.
Right.
I want to see I want to see what he sees. I want to experience what he experiences. And you know, there's the science stuff. I don't, you know, I'm not as into the science stuff. So Geordi and Wesley Crusher, they were fine. I liked them being, you know, friends of Data, but you know, I was there for Data. I want to hear that story. I want to see it play out over the years. You know, they're giving us they're giving us characters who can do that here, but they're also giving us things like when we meet Roger Corby in the original series, like, this is no guy that we like. This is not a good dude. And I wonder if they are kind of doing it right by portraying him as, you know, he doesn't listen to anybody. And he hardcore wants to get into this creepy crap in this episode.
The one thing I did find interesting, two things I found interesting about this series was you do start to see, or maybe I'm just imagining it, that you start to see cracks in that Chapel Corby relationship.
I think
like
so.
She chastises him like a couple of times, and he's sort of like, he's starting to become very much I know better, which is kind of where I thought this episode was going to go, and then it just went.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that was okay for me. This is interesting. Okay, I've just been called out by Furry Bastard. Technically, we never met Roger Corby. He was dead. We met his android duplicate.
Well, that's a good point.
That is a good point.
Except that what made up Corby was implanted on, right?
Yes.
So it's still him.
Well, yeah, it's a duplicate to be sure, but maybe there was some degradation, you know, along the way.
Yeah.
But it's a better story if he turns out to be you know, a guy that just, you know, falls to hubris. You know what I mean?
And Eric, I have to respectfully disagree with you on one point. As much as I really want to embrace the USS Grey's Anatomy, don't you think this episode would have been better without two things? That aspect of it, the silly, you know, oh gosh, we're on the elevator, it's so awkward. And I'm sorry, I've been a Carol Kane fan for decades, but I can't wait for them to write that character.
I don't understand what they're doing with that character. I just don't. But look, you know, even though I've fully embraced the USS Grey's Anatomy, those scenes still piss me off. You know what? Here's the thing, and I go back to what John said. You know, nothing against the actress, but wow, do I not like that character? Do you know what I mean? Like
Carol Kane's character,
right off the top, like, what Spock's doing, because I know secretly Spock is still, you know, like so catty and so like, come on, really?
You know,
is that where we had to go? And then they couldn't even give Spock the dignity of the coolest thing Spock could have done in that elevator was go, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, they have to give him, no, I've taken steps to ensure that nothing is going. Oh, fuck off. Right.
But I know that Eric does really appreciate the one truly unique aspect of this episode, and that's how Ensign Gamble lost his eyes, right, Eric? You've never seen that anywhere ever, right?
Oh my God. We were just talking about this before the show went on. It was driving me crazy because I saw that makeup job and I was like, where the fuck have I seen this before? And then it was Event Horizon.
One of the classic science fiction, you know, in space horror, haunted house, you know, it second only to, I think, The Black Hole in being a haunted house in space story.
Good comparison, yeah.
And this one is like number 3. This one is falling right on the coattails of those stories.
Without the element, if they left out the elements, two things could have made it better. If they left out the stupid characterization, the romance crap, and the paleo crap,
Yeah.
and maybe a couple more drafts of the screen of the teleplay, they may have really had a bullseye, like John said, but it just came up short because
No, it came up way short. But here's the other thing. Going back to the USS Grey's Anatomy. No, it's like I gotta say, Spock's relationship now has suddenly become like my favorite thing. Like the two of them together are kind of awesome together.
I absolutely agree.
They don't like, do you know what I mean? Like it isn't all Christine and Corby constant fucking needy, whatever.
Yeah.
Like the two of them are like, you know what I mean? This goes back to, and I talked about this before, like in the Star Trek movie, with Spock and Uhura when they were together. Do you know what I mean? Like it was reminiscent of that. Like
in the
just
Kelvin universe,
completely professional. She's totally respectful of him and who he is. Like finally, we're starting to see, with the exception of that fucking elevator scene, where we're finally sort of starting to see Spock be fucking Spock. And like there is this, I'm telling you, like it feels like something happened between those two actors on the break, because they are completely comfortable with each other. I really dig seeing the two of them together. Like I dig how they interact. I dig what that I just dig what that is now.
I absolutely agree. And I think part of it was when I first saw the character of La'an, I was like, okay, I'm okay with the serious character, but she is like 20 years old. This is, 3 years ago. And, I've never been a big one for like, let's have the really young girl be the one who's got the heavy heart and all the experience and all the cynicism. Like, really? The young girl? And I've seen that stereotype used a million times. But now, her next to Spock, it's like they're like two peas in a pod. They're both so
great. They're just they really are, as far as like what they bring to that as actors. And by the way, really simple. There's no dialogue to back this up.
Yeah.
It's just how they are, how they move together, how they work together, how they look at each other, how they react. It's really fucking cool.
It's like nonverbals.
I just wish that had been the fucking relationship.
Well, I mean, they brought La'an obviously at the beginning to be Tasha Yar.
Yes.
Same type of thing. And fortunately, in this case, they quickly wrote her beyond those limitations. And as you guys point out, I mean, they could have skipped over the Christine's Spock thing entirely.
Entirely.
Yeah.
I mean, or you know what? Just make Christine take notice, but let Spock be Spock. Let Spock be a Vulcan, for crying out loud, instead of, me in grade 10.
Let's try to get out of the down and dirty here. So the entire story, how did you feel about the entire story when we got all the way to the end? Because I have to tell you, I didn't hate it, especially since in the original series, those old scientists, there were so many examples of a being in a little ball or a pyramid for the gamesters of Triskelion, or
I am Sargon.
Yeah.
I am Sargon.
there are so many examples of like, around a glass ball that's got a person, a personality in it. I didn't hate that. I didn't hate them doing that on this, but it did make me go, when we run into these sort of non-corporeal beings in TOS, that is in the future. And so we're already establishing like a one-to-one relationship between one of those beings and the Enterprise inside its computer. Ugh. And there's no history of this. No one ever discusses this. Like, this is a big deal. Did that bother anyone else?
you got to. It's hard. It's hard for me to do it, but looking at that type of level of continuity, it's just going to make it more frustrating. This isn't a separate universe.
You can't do it. You have to.
Yeah.
You know what? You honestly have to look at this show like it isn't connected to the Star Trek universe. You do that, you take so much frustration out of the game. Even the Spock character, frankly.
Yeah.
But there is little sort of pockets of gold here. My question is with this episode, like last episode, why? Why? Was this just to get some malevolent force into the Enterprise computer? Because there's better ways to do it.
I think there's a I think there's a desire they had to create a big bad. And we already had, and that's left over from like season 1. We already know the Gorn are a big bad villain. And so what else? What else is your big villain? What else is your your sort of inescapable force of, and let's say, overwhelming evil. That is what we've run into with these, the glowy things inside the, I don't know.
Does it always have to be some ancient, malevolent end of the fucking universe force? I mean, like, this is sort of where we're at now with these stories. And this is what drives me crazy, is the simplicity is gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, it's supposed to be episodic, and we want, continuing situations, but boy, it's starting to feel more serialized now because nothing is resolved from one episode to the next.
Oh, they definitely, they love baggage on the Strange New Worlds. Yeah, they want baggage to go from episode to episode.
And the thing is, I made a joke at the beginning how one of us, meaning Eric, didn't like this one, and one of us kind of did. Well, we're actually, Eric and I are more in the middle, as it turns out. This episode had an intriguing concept, as it's had before in previous episodes.
Yeah.
But it suffers from too quick of a wrap up that makes little sense. That's why we're going, huh? But we're gonna get more episodes.
Well, it's so convoluted and so complicated. For what? Like, it doesn't push Corby further it doesn't push anybody further as a character. It just becomes this device to get this malevolent force on the Enterprise.
Well, I gotta move us forward, gentlemen. So here we go. Get out your panning equipment. We gotta pan through this and find some gold nuggets. And I want to know, did you have a most valuable player on this episode, and who are they and why?
Well, I got one. If you want me to go first.
Oh, please go first, Joe.
Given the story, given the episodes as in total, for me the MVP is obviously Instant Gamble. I mean, that character drove the events throughout the episode.
Can I just say, at the beginning of the episode, I was like, I like this kid. I think we've got a future here. I think, because I'm always complaining about, there's, they like to cut from the same cloth for a lot of their characters. Neurotic women.
But did we need another Wesley Crusher? I was glad when he got killed off, to be honest.
Oh, were you?
He was annoying the hell out of me.
Yeah, I gotta say, not my favorite character at all. Yeah. And what was this? What? Where did this fucking mentor, like, I love this kid fucking relationship come from? Like, build that up over a couple of episodes at least.
I mean, yeah, that came up on like page 4 of the script for this episode, and that's the history. I mean,
like, what? Like, out of fucking nowhere that shows up. And
they introduce him in episode 4, right?
No, they do, but they don't. But this fucking relationship, all of a sudden, this father-son mentor. Look, I'm hugging you because like, what the fuck? Like, where did that
Yeah.
come from? I would
No,
have
this
liked
is
to have
actually the
seen that
character's.
built up. That would have been cool.
This is the character's third episode because they actually brought him in episode 2 when they started Patel's treatments, and he was on board for that. He was there to replace Christine
Right.
during her sabbatical or hiatus. And I think
As a
the
nurse.
problem we have here is that there are so many blanks to be filled in by the audience mentally because there's just too few episodes.
Yes.
You have to tell the story in such broad strokes. You miss things like this.
Yeah.
Well,
that's-
yeah, but look at the other series that do it so well in less, in like 6, 8 episodes, 10.
Yeah.
Like I think you get caught trying to do too much. And again, this goes back to what I said before. It doesn't always have to be the end of the fucking universe. It doesn't always have to be
I
this
agree.
fucking huge malevolent force. There are really simple stories that work so well. That's why that the Picard one where he lives the life on that planet,
The inner
Yeah.
light.
right? That's why stories like that hit so hard, because you go, oh man, that's really that, like they stand out as powerful. But if each episode is constantly, it's it's the end of the world, this is the devil that's been like, holy fuck, man, like pull back. And I think they're in trouble like that with the characters too, because I think they're
I run into this because I would like Doctor Who, but the modern Doctor Who especially is, all of history is being erased. All of existence is being, this entire dimension is being destroyed. It's like every episode, it dulls the senses to have to go to, black alert over and over again. And I agree. Different stories come in different sizes, and some of them last, on an arc for like 3 episodes or 4 episodes. But shoehorning everything into you only get 10 episodes nowadays. And final season, Joe, is going to be like what, 5?
6. They'll end up with 46 total episodes for this series. We're not just halfway through this season, we're halfway through the series. Isn't that something?
Yeah. I'm not particularly thrilled about that. Eric, how are you feeling, man?
I just write for what you got.
Yeah.
If you have 10 episodes, write for 10 episodes. Don't make it doesn't every episode doesn't have to be a flippin', movie. You know what I mean?
You get desensitized because of the supposed enormity of the crisis after crisis. Eric's example of the inner light is a great one because it's a pretty simple concept, but it's mind-boggling and it leaves a lasting impression. These stories you forget about as soon as you're done.
Yeah. If you understand it.
Check Eric for a Terran Empire badge. Furry Bastard is convinced that Eric's from the Mirror universe.
Certainly my career is.
Hey, let's move ahead. We like to bring you trivia whenever we can, and even on these brand new episodes, we can dig up a little bit of trivia now and again. And when I say we, I mean Joe. So Joe Townsend, please share with us some Townsend tidbits.
Well, I'll be happy to, Captain. I mean, as you say, we get what we can in the short time in which we work. I know you've got one, I think, for us tonight, but I'll just give you these few I selected from our good friends at trekmovie.com. They're a great source of Star Trek news. Have been since 2009. That website was, by the way, created in conjunction with Star Trek 2009. So anyway, it lives on as a website. And here's a few things they had that I found interesting. Badia 9 was first mentioned by Corby in episode 2 of this season, Wedding Bell Blues. So there's your foreshadowing, and there's always got to be connective tissues, which is fine.
Mhm.
I do find it interesting that we apparently have a PR division of Starfleet, which has employed or internized Beta. Which okay,
That's so dumb.
Fucking forked. Jesus.
So dumb. I hate that.
I do like the line. We're going to need a
And by the
bigger
way, that
landing
didn't
party.
fucking went anywhere either, except that it gave Uhura a way to find Jesus fucking Christ.
I do like the line of we're going to need a bigger landing party, which it harkens back to Jaws. We're going to need a bigger boat. Thought that was clever.
It was the final line of that little stinger. Yeah, I appreciated that too. That was a nice little moment.
And the last one I'll lift from TrekMovie.com, which I thought was very clever. I did actually realize this on my own. Scotty beams the malevolent entity, to nowhere, which of course he'll do to himself years in the future when he puts himself in a transporter buffer for 70
Right.
Oh, that's very cool. Where'd you beam him? Nowhere. I do kind of hope that we do get a lot more Scotty. I'm really enjoying Scotty on this show as much
go
as
ahead and put him in there and get rid of Pelia. Why not? That's where it's heading.
I'm sorry, Eric. Go ahead.
No. I would like that because I would like to see Scotty grow up.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like, I would like to see him become the fucking engineer that we all love.
I mean, he is such a seasoned guy in TOS, even though there is still, as Joe has pointed out in the past, there is still a bit of an arc where he's kind of a bookish guy at the beginning of when we meet him, and he loves to go through all of the manuals on paper.
Yeah.
And that's a personality. That's somebody, like, we love that engineering nerd. But then he also becomes the, can you drink it? Can you mix it with whiskey?
Yeah, but that's what's so fucking great about him. You know what I mean? Like, he's just, it's green. One of my most favorite speeches that they ever gave him was actually Next Generation, when Picard finds him in the holodeck, and he's on there, and he talks about how he could tell how fast the ship was traveling. He could tell everything that was going on just by how the ship felt beneath his feet.
Right.
Like, fuck, that's who that guy is.
Yes.
Guys, we should do that. We should do that one on Retro Trekkers at some point.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about Retro Trekkers. I got to tell you, I'm not enjoying this enough to really make me happy.
Hey, we got puppets coming, John. We got puppets coming.
But not till next season. Darn it.
Well, and that's another thing that drives me crazy is the direct lifts. That lift, as referenced by Joe in the beats, of you have to literally take a leap of faith because there is no, that is such a direct lift of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It's like one of the biggest moments.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Furry Bastard says, best Scotty moment is when he's arguing with the alien government in Let That Be Your Last Battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one. Chris says, my favorite Scotty scene is when he comes out of the transporter in TNG. Yeah.
Well, let's not forget that Scotty went on to be, he was third in command under Kirk and Spock. Right. And there were times when he had to take command, and he did a hell of a job. He didn't put up with any
he was great.
Oh, yeah. He was really great in the chair. Okay, so my favorite Scotty scene actually came from The Voyage Home, and that would be computer. That was my favorite. All right. I think that might be it, gentlemen. Anything you might want to say about?
Did we learn anything? Did we learn anything from this episode?
I still haven't made that segment. I'm sorry. Yes. What have we learned? Let's Eric, you brought it up. We'll make you go first. What
Yeah,
have
you
we
go, Eric.
learned in this episode?
Okay, well, here's what I think what we learned. Maybe there's a couple that we should divide this category as to what we learned from what Star Trek tells us as to and what we learned from production. The one thing is, if you only got 10 episodes, write for 10 fucking episodes.
Yes. Thank you.
Right?
That's a mic dropper right there. Absolutely.
Like just if you've only got 10, write for 10. And what did we learn from Star Trek this week is that there are people who will always play to the cameras even in the 24th century.
What I learned, guys, is this: if there are problems with the story, you fix it on the page, not later.
There's that. Here's what I've learned. I've learned that I don't think in this series that that Spock used the word fascinating until La'an said it.
Oh,
I think you're right.
I think you're right. I dig the two of them together. Like that was the only, like that was, because the rest of it was so convoluted. Like just watching the two of them together, I was like, God damn, yeah. And it did, and that's it. And it just made that elevator scene. It just pissed me off even more.
Oh, I could have lived without that elevator scene.
Like the greatest thing was Spock, should have just left it as at dance instructor. She's an excellent dance instructor. Doors open, boom, gone. I wish this show would stop making me hate the Chapel character.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I
really
love
like
the
her as
actor.
an actress. I dig it. I am so tired of this show making me hate that character. And not just because of the relationship stuff, by the way, which is irritating enough.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll see a return to a better days of Chapel in this series, like when she and M'Benga were like, partners in the war effort.
Yes.
That was good Chapel stuff. We need to get back to stuff like that with her.
I mean, I wasn't crazy about we took drugs and that made us kill a lot of Klingons hand to hand.
But the overall, okay, she's a
well, yeah. Well, there's another lift from World War II going back to there.
And there's Ferry Bastard said, yeah, she's also an archaeologist nurse now, Eric.
Just like, really? She's the one. I got this, guys. Stand.
I wonder if she's a descendant of Marion Ravenwood.
On goes, don't do the. It worked. I'm a powerful woman. Like, Jesus Christ, man. You're a scientist, for fuck's sakes. You don't go up and start slapping your hand in shit.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
Especially after she chastised Corby, right?
Yes.
Hey, can we not be so dramatic? Like, you're not even going to maybe take a closer look at it? No, just stick your hand in there. That's great. That's awesome. And what is with the dramatic step into the unknown? If there's a fucking invisible bridge there, don't you think you're sort of balancing on one leg and hitting it with your fucking tiptoe? What is this fucking all in?
They were holding hands, Eric. That made it magical.
If I fall, you're going with me.
I'm bringing Spock's new girlfriend with me. Damn it!
Right? Yeah. No. Not leaving you here with him.
Thanks to everybody who's gotten this far watching the show. We truly appreciate you joining us every week. We will be back next week. Here are the coming attractions. Bye, everybody.
Internet thingy. Weber internet thingy. Weber internet thingy. Come on, check this out. Weber internet thingy. Weber internet thingy. Weber internet thingy. The good times are never in doubt. Ooh, 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 ooh. Weber internet thingy. Ooh, 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 ooh. Come on. gonna join the fun. Ooh, 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 Weber Internet thingy. Ooh, 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 we've got the blues on the run. Get away from that big mean world and come have lots of dumb fun. Get away from that big mean world and come have lots of dumb fun.
JillTownsend.com